Right, next one, we'll start thinking about how we graph some of our data. First question is always going to be what graph should I use, and you've really got to think through why you're using particular graphs for different bits of data. Let's think about, I'm going to put these countries' GDP per capita into some kind of a graph. So let's highlight the data that I want to graph. If we go up to the top, there's a whole series of different graphs up here that you can have a think about. Do I want a bar chart? Do I want a line chart? Do I want a pie chart? And if you click on one of these and you sort of hover over it, will give you a very quick overview of what you're looking at. I certainly wouldn't use a pie chart if I was comparing 11 countries' GDPs per capita. There's no whole that I'm sort of splitting up. It's not like a country's energy mix or something that's 100% total, so that would be fairly inappropriate. I've got line graphs here. I certainly wouldn't be connecting this data with a line. There's no sort of temporal element along the x-axis, or nothing to kind of link these countries. They're independent of one another, so that would be inappropriate. So probably a bar chart is going to be my most obvious one on here. And if I have a look at my bar charts, I've got 2D and 3D options. Anyone who does a 3D doesn't deserve to have anything published. They're disgusting, don't use them. So a 2D one will be my way forwards. So let's say I'm going to click that one, and here I have got my bars. So I can drag the corners of these and make them a little bit bigger, but it is quite important that actually what you do is you add value to the data presentation that you're doing. All of these look very, very generic. It comes out in the same color, so you want to make sure that this is going to look good. So if you've got your chart clicked, you get a whole series of different tools and things you can do and change things on the graphs. So let's think about what I might want to do. The first things that make sense are sort of adding some axes and things like that. So I've got, let's add some axes at the bottom. So at the bottom I'm going to stick in here, these are countries. The moment they're numbered, we'll add the country names in a second. Let's also add an axis title to the vertical, and this should be GDP per capita. Alongside, should be in US dollars, and let's add a title up at the top. So graph bar chart to show countries GDP. Right, so let's go about sorting the numbers down the bottom, these numbers that are on here. So what I would like to do on here is so if I click on this one and I go select data, and what I want to do is I want to edit the axis labels, which at the moment are these 1 to 11. So if I click on edit here, and actually what I want to do is I want to select a range which will contain all of the countries on it. So I select those 11 that are on there, and click that little box to go back in there, and you'll see now the countries have appeared along the bottom. So okay. So I've now got a bar chart with bars for every country. I've got the countries labelled. I've got my two axes that are both labelled. But now I want to sort of fine-tune what I've got on here. So I want to try and show that I've done something different with my data presentation. And my first suggestion would always be to change the colours that are in these. Not that they have to be radical or rainbow coloured, but just the fact that you've done something that not showing the generic colours, for example. So let's imagine I want to change them and they're all green. It may be that you added some value to them and actually you wanted to pick those countries that were ACs and colour their bars in different colours. And you can do that. You can pick individual bars. If you select the bars, they'll all appear. You can see blobs on all the corners. And if you click one again, it will just pick an individual one. And I could, for example, maybe colour in the AC countries one colour. And I may colour other countries a different colour, and that may be part of my analysis for this. Is that I might want to show some of the bars to be different, and that's a sensible thing to be doing. What else could I do to these? I could edit text around the outside if I wanted to. Even if you want to think about adding value to things, what else can you do? Well, you've got these 4 countries. Let's imagine these are the 4 we wanted to look at. You could add perhaps an average of your AC countries. Could be something that you had on the side. So let's say that I wanted to have an average AC stick over on the far right hand side. How would I go about doing that? So let's call this average AC. So firstly I need to work out what the average AC value is. So equals average, and this time I'm not taking a whole array because I only want 4 of the countries. So I'm going to open brackets. I'm just going to click the cells that I want to average. So I wanted the UKs, I wanted the USAs, oops, and I need to press Control in between. So the UK, the USA, I wanted Iceland, and I wanted Spain. So I wanted those 4. So if you look at the equation at the top, it's equals average, open brackets, and then the 4 cells with commas in between. So B3, B4, B10, B13, close brackets, and there's my average AC value now down there. So a nice, quick, easy way to get your extra stick in is if I click on the chart, and you can see that currently I've got this purple box here for where all the country labels are coming, and I've got this blue box here that shows me where all the GDPs are coming. I just drag that down one, it will get me my average AC stick on the side. So I could perhaps colour in my average AC stick. Let's put that as a probably if all of my ACs are blue, then I'd want something like a dark blue, maybe for my average AC stick. And then let's do the same thing. So average for all the other countries. So equals average, open brackets, and then all of the other ones. So click one, I'm holding down the control button as I click all the others. Click, 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 close brackets. And that's only 5,000. Let's add that one on. Click this one, drag it down. Boom. So average of the others. Now all the other ones are coloured in green, so it would make sense that this one was probably a darker green down there. And look at that, I've got, that's really neat, I've now got myself some additional data on here. I might decide that I wanted I can even insert like a line or something, insert a line down here. If you hold the shift button when you're drawing a line, it finds you the straight downs and things like that, so I can have a line perhaps in here. I can change the colours of these, for example. Let's make it grey, and let's make it a bit thicker, and let's make it dashed. And therefore it's really obvious that it's a slightly different part of my graph. And voila, I've got myself that data. Or if I wanted to, I could have perhaps inserted, if I didn't want the extra bars, what I could have done is I could have worked out what my AC average was, and I could have drawn a line across here, and I could have perhaps inserted a little bit of a little text box, and on here I could have written average AC value, and again I've probably coloured that in blue because I'm helping, I don't know, in blue, text in blue, so I'm trying to help and guide the people that are reading this, and maybe I would have done that one probably as a dash line 2. So I wouldn't have both of these on my graph, that would be overkill, but I could have added a dotted line and had a value in. That could have been an average for the whole data set. I could have had the average AC and the average non-ACs ones on there, or I could add these extra bars onto the right hand side. Big no-goes for me in terms of bar charts when you're doing these. Why are you colouring things different colours? We don't need a rainbow of colours across different countries. Often it may be appropriate just to have everything in one colour. Secondly, backgrounds, leave them as white. They don't need to be anything else. You don't need people's faces or photos or images or, again, multicoloured backgrounds. Something that's plain and simple, looks professional. Avoid any kind of 3D. The 3D just doesn't work. You have the back and the front of your bar as it comes up, and it's difficult to read off accurately. It adds no value whatsoever. I would just say use your common sense about what looks appropriate. You can play around with the data on here for ages to try and have a look at sort of editing things, colours, shapes, sizes. Have a think about what should be included, what shouldn't be included. Can I read things easily? Add the data values to some things perhaps. But yeah, you want something that's simple, something that's easy, something that's not too cluttered as well. It looks like a really easy skill, a bar chart, but it's done badly a lot of the times. There's a real skill in doing something that looks nice and looks professional and looks appropriate.